guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this fabulous Friday here in Connecticut. Life is good, campers. Life is good. There, you saw the thumbnail down below. Studio versus orchestral. This is a request from my friend Joe Triscari, and there's many facets about this. I could write a 300-pound book, 300-page book about this, guys, and not get it all. All right? So I'm going to do the best I can within this time frame, and I think you know my thoughts on this. This is the core of the whole True Power protocol. All right? Did 30 on the stationary bike and 300 swings of kettlebell. Have played a note, should be compressed to the max. Let's see if we are. Bodes well. Don't need no stinking warm-up. Jeez. Let's play a little barbed wire. Now, since we're on the subject, I'm not sure if you can pigeonhole my genre at this point in my life, but any orchestral player would love to have that low G. And you studio guys, you might like that G up top too. See what I'm saying? How about a little Caress the Baby? Clipped a few things. Maybe I need a little more stinking warm-up than I think. Life's good, man. Anyway, kettlebell KBs for double C's. Get it down below. SFE, get it down below. Meditation for double C's, get it down below. They're all $10 and more. Anyway, yeah, Joe Triscari. I can see why he is interested in this. His uncles did the same crossover that we're going to talk about. And I'm leaving a link down below. I've used this before. This is one of my favorite pieces of music, whether Joe Triscari is doing it or his brother or Herseth. And that is the Overture to the Poet and Peasant. It is absolutely gorgeous. And wait until you hear this. Now, that's Joe Triscari, or maybe it's Ray. I think it's Joe. Okay? And listen to that orchestral attack. Listen to that richness of sound. Guys, same players on Tootie's trumpets. With the same mouthpiece, with the same trumpet. Guys, if the chops are right and your equipment is right, you absolutely 1,000% can do both. You can make a fortune in the studios, and you can still be first trumpet player in any orchestra with the same equipment. It can be done. It has been done. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. The great Bernie Glow, king of the New York studios when I got there, late 60s, early 70s. King. Could he play in the New York Philharmonic? You bet your butt. You think he could play in the Met? You bet. New York City Ballet? Absolutely. Absolutely. Could Vacchiano play in the studios? He could, but he couldn't play lead. He didn't have those kind of knockdown chops. Let's go back to the Triscari brothers. Now, these guys, back in the day, guys, these guys could do anything. They're all on tiny little mouthpieces. Conrad Gazzo, are you kidding me? There isn't a stronger mofo that ever lived. And he was king of lead players. He was on everybody's album, so not everybody's album, but he was also, before he started that career in the studio, he was the #1 premier principal trumpet player for all the concert band. Goldman, Sousa, the whole 9 yards. He had a Carnival of Venice that would make you cry. It can be done. Now, at the root of the whole thing and every single thing that I talk about, I do believe that the one thing that the orchestral guys have a problem with, they talk about the tone being too bright. No, they're wrong. That's not what they're hearing. There is nobody on this planet that played with more sizzle than Adolf Hirscheth. Nobody. Tone power? You kidding me? What you don't hear in the great one's tone is strain. You do hear it in Bill Chase's tone. He couldn't play in an orchestra. I don't think the great Lynn Nicholson could play in an orchestra. Okay? Mel Broyles could do studio stuff. He can and did. He owned the studios. You don't hear much about that because he was playing at the Met by this time. But when he left the Philadelphia Orchestra, there's a period of time where he wasn't playing full time until he got the Met. That break, he made a fortune in the studios. And that was the golden age of the studios. That was Bernie Glow. That was Doc himself, Doc Severinsen. That was John Frost. That was Dick Perry. That was Jimmy Maxwell. Jimmy Maxwell, perfect example. The opening trumpet solo to all the Godfather movies, that was Jimmy Maxwell on a jet tone mouthpiece, who was one of the best jazz players that ever lived. But did you hear how classical that is? Go listen to it sometime. I should do a thing on Jimmy Maxwell. I absolutely should. Guys, it can be done. Back to Mel Broyles. Guys, Ace, back in the day, I used to walk into a studio recording and everybody would move over. You know, Ace, Doc wasn't always this double C guy that you heard. He would move over. In the meantime, he would plug in his jet tone and play double Cs that would... All right? Frank Catarabic. I heard him trying out one of Jerry's mouthpieces once. Play a G that shook the walls of Jericho. Orchestral guy. Could do anything in a studio. Now, he's in Philadelphia that didn't have as much studio work back then, so he didn't do much. He wasn't known for it, but he could. Absolutely could. The guy that's down there now, Dave Bilger, could not. Could not play lead trumpet. He has a terrible mouthpiece. It works with the C trumpet and the D trumpet. He can get through. Chris Martin, another one. You don't want him playing on your lead job. Phil Smith. You know that I think it's ABC. ABC football. That's Phil Smith playing most of the lead, not all of it. My friend, Jim Hines, was the one that contracted that and conducted the session. And I think they brought it here, they overdubbed a couple things. But that was Phil Smith. Guys, it can be done. Now, I don't like Phil Smith for a lead player. Okay? Let's go back out to L.A. Donovan McNabb? Malcolm McNabb. Very, very classically trained. Decided he wanted to make some money in the studios, but he was playing some ungodly 1C or something. And he plays these things. He can play lead, and he can play these things at, these violin solos, transcriptions, and all that sort of stuff. We talk about the Triscari brothers. The Condoli brothers could play in an orchestra. Absolutely. Now, one of the reasons I'm not doing more than this is my channel is good for 15 minutes and 15 minutes only. If I'm doing, at the most, or it doesn't come through. So if I'm doing my Ablasin at the beginning and, my Murray at the end and all that and everything in between, it doesn't leave a lot of time. I'm already getting to the end here, okay? But And again, I can't do justice to this without doing a month's worth of this. So, that's what I got for you, Joe. I hope it answers your question. And Joe, your uncle's proved the point. And I'm leaving that Poet and Peasant Overture down below. And keep in mind, this guy could play lead on anything. And listen to that richness, that antiphonal sound with the rest of the orchestra. There was no blasting through. It is gorgeous. Can be done. My whole technique, my whole protocol is that not only can it be done, you should be able to do it. If your chops are right, and there's no strain in the sound that I mentioned earlier, that's the corners, the world is yours, Chico, and everything in it. All right? All right. Love you all.